boys, so we are back again. We have returned. This is going to be the first UFC best bets picks for the year. We're back at UFC 101 in the Apex. Amanda Ribas versus Mackenzie Dern 2. Just kind of want to just talk about what we've been doing. I know I've been doing radio silent for about 3 weeks because there wasn't really anything to go on. It was a long 3 weeks. But we're back again. We did end with 88 profit on the 2 videos that we made at the end of 2024, so that was pretty decent. We done to act as the ball landed, and it was good success rates. I'll show proof anyways and all that. But we will do it again. We'll have the lock of the week. This week I'm going to add in forfeits if the lock of the week doesn't land. If the lock of the week does fail, I'll throw 20 quid in the highest odd person for next week. I don't know it yet, but I might do a recap of like the pay-per-view on Sunday and then talk about it. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the lock of the week.
Press Action Man Carter!
Lock of the week is going to be the man, Action Man Chris Curtis. Personally, the reason I've picked Action Man Chris Curtis and the reason I've gone with it, I don't really see Roman Kopylov winning. I've kind of thought that Chris Curtis is being a bit punished. I thought he won his fight personally against Brendan Allen. I thought it was 2-2 coming into the 5th, and I thought he battered him in the 5th. I don't really know what the judges saw, but look, they just see to see. I like the colour blue and pick whatever rule they want. You know the judging in the UFC is terrible. So my honest opinion, I think Roman Kopylov, he hasn't beaten anyone of notable quality. He's kind of fought, I wouldn't say bums, I'm not going to be rude to him, but he hasn't fought anyone who's been UFC level quality at all. He is 13-3, but his only notable wins in the UFC is Puna Saharo, who's actually on this card, who realistically shouldn't be in the UFC. He'll get finished again by the doctor this card and be done in UFC. It's not that, you know, he isn't good enough to be in this real sport. Cladson Robario, who's already out of the UFC, that was a brilliant head kick, do not get me wrong, a great head kick, knocked his, shimmed the dome, but still, Josh Freeman, who liver hit him, still shouldn't really be in the UFC. He had to step up in competition already, and he lost to Mario Hoofy, to Fluffy, Anthony Hernandez. He lost to Fluffy already. If you're being realistic, I don't see Chris Curtis being another step that he doesn't win. I just think it seems to be, he's a Russian prospect. They're trying to push up fucking Chase Hooper's, to be fair, Chase Hooper's Russian brother. I don't see it happening. I can see Chris Curtis just bringing out the same great performances that he always does. Just a solid 15 minutes. Trains with Strickland. They have a very similar sort of style. They're both just great. He does have a bit more tools than Strickland. It isn't just a deep kick and a jab. He can actually go out. He can grapple. I think he wins most of the grappling exchanges. He looks like the bigger fighter. He definitely will be the bigger fighter. And I think, to be fair, he should have the striking differential to take the 15-minute. I'm going to go with a decision. I don't see him finishing him, but I can see Chris Curtis, and he's going to be the lock of the week. So anyways, we'll move on to the favourites. These will usually be put into an ACA if people are wondering as well. But those are the favourites right there. So we've gone with Roby Smith. To be fair, this card is hard to pick a lot of favourites. I won't lie to you. There's women at 1-7 to 1-9 that no one should touch. If you're looking at those and having any ACAs on it, don't even look at them. There's no point because none of those are high level fights. None of those. It's all just women coming off losses, and if anyone knows the UFC, you know low level women's MMA, not interested, don't care, not gonna look. But if we look at it now, Roby Smith, he should win his fight. He came off the Contender Series looking extremely well. Maybe not that impressive on the Contender Series to get a contract, but they see just be handing those out now. So, you know, he should win it. Right, Roby Smith's fighting Preston Parsons. That is not a very, very good fighter. He's kind of another Ryan Hall type. He can just roll up submissions, not great striking. He's only really beaten low of the low real MMA quality, probably standard level. His game plans coming into fights are kind of obvious. When you're being realistic, the Preston Parsons only real wins are Selvesberger, like Evan Ander. Not really that good. Roby Smith definitely looks a lot better than most of these coming off the Contender Series. I think he just wins a great 15 minutes because Preston Parsons isn't very, very impressive. If you go into the next one now, we go with the Doctor, Usyk Medic. As I already said in the lock, I can see Usyk Medic winning this by KO in the first round. One of my best bets for this is probably under 1.5 rounds and Usyk Medic by KO. At 1-2, I think that's crazy odds because Puna Sierra has been and fought terribly in the UFC. He's been finished so easily. He's one of those hittable guys there. The doctor will absolutely walk through him. He's 10-2. The only people he's lost are 2 top 15s by submission: Julian Turner and Misek Olabai. So, 2 only submission losses, has never been finished. I don't see it being broken by Piro Soriano. I can see him finishing him. Now, Thiago Moises, that's one's debatable, but also Thiago Moises is very much the same. A very strange MMA record. He's 18-8. He's only 29. He must have started MMA very, very young. But he has basically, beside Ludwig Klein, where Ludwig Klein did not look that impressive in that performance after being so hyped, has lost to Bon Saint Denis, Julian Alvarez, Islam, Bilal Dariush, all in the top brass of their careers. So realistically, most of his losses in the UFC, out of 4 of them, have been against top contenders. It's strange because, Ludwig Klein underperformed. Thiago Moises did not appear, but I do think Thiago Moises has realistically the edge. I'm going to go with age over Troy Ogden. Troy Ogden can stay in a lot of the fights, but I just think I could see Thiago Moises taking the 15 minutes from him, giving a hard, gritty 15 minutes and taking it with the better striking. Realistically, I'm going to say better grappling, but it could be level. They're definitely not bad grapplers, definitely a striking advantage. I could see a submission come late in the rounds, but that's what I'm going to go with for the most kind of confident. And then we go to the Argentinian tag, Santiago Ponzinibbio. I, to be honest, I'm strange and a bit kind of confused by this fight because realistically, Santiago Ponzinibbio shouldn't probably be fighting Carlton Harrison. I understand Ponzinibbio is nearly 40 and getting a bit older, but he's definitely the better fighter than Harrison, age or not. Harrison has a very meh record, so look, they're close to each other, I'll give you that, but Harrison's fought Gooden, Wells, okay, fair enough, and then lost to Chaos Williams, lost to Shavkat. He's beaten basically Kasanga, who isn't even in the UFC anymore. He's only really known for 1 knockout, and that's not even by him, it's by Joaquin Buckley spinning and kicking him in the jaw. I think Ponzinibbio should be able to do it. I think Ponzinibbio should be able to do it. He should have the gas tank still, and I think you could see an early finish, but I don't think so. I think he'll great out of 15 minutes. I think he has the better striking and the better grappling. Like most fights, he definitely has the better conditioning, so he should be able to take it home. And anyways, right, let's move down to the underdogs. Right, so these are the underdogs. I kind of put this graphic completely wrong, so yeah, just ignore that. It's kind of just in my face at the minute. The first one is going to be Philip Bunnes, I think is how you say his name. I don't know 100%. Let's call him Felipe. Felipe, to be honest, was on my radar kind of from the bat, just because he's fighting Jose Johnson, who I really thought was poor enough, quite kind of shit on the Contender Series. I was confused when he got a contract. His fight with Jack Carty, he did dominate, but it wasn't impressive. It wasn't really that standout. It was kind of just, Now, Burns lost his debut, I get that, but it's just one of these fights where if you're putting their 2 records against each other and you watch sort of their styles, I think Burns probably has it more, just because I don't think Jose Johnson should be in the UFC, to be 100% honest. I think Burns should be able to do it. He has the far superior grappling. Definitely see Burns taking him. If it's the mat, I'd be definitely looking at Burns finishing it, and that's the way that I look at that fight. Now, C-Rod, this is another interesting one, Christian Rodriguez, because again, he's fighting another MMA hype product, but he's against Austin Bashi, which again is another massive hype product from Warrior Way Martial Arts. He beat Dorian Ramos. This is UFC debut on the Contender Series, and I've seen everyone say why C-Ross won't do this, because C-Ross took out Rose Rojas Jr., Kyron Simone, all from the same thing. They started well but faded away because, again, this isn't a regional scene guy. He doesn't fade away when you put the pressure on him. He stayed in front of them and drained their energy that they didn't have. He zapped their gas tank. Now, a lot of people have said, and I've watched it, Austin Bashi will not zap. I think he will. I think he'll be broken. I think he'll get pushed into deep waters coming into a third, where it could be 1-1, where I think he'll win the first round, second round will be close, and I think C-Rod then takes it to him and wins the third, because I think he cracks the real stamina of him. I think he takes him to deep waters they didn't get on the regional scene. Like, from the fights I was able to watch, he does have better stand-up. He's better stand-up than Rojas Jr. That's probably his closest comparison. I had better wrestling than him, but I'm not sure if it's UFC level caliber stand up to fight a guy like C-Rod who's taking down people like fights at 145. So you'd have to say that C-Rod should take this. I think he's zaps the gas tank. I think the Julian Erosa one is different because, again, you do fall to the mat with someone like Julian Erosa. He will submit you. He'll submit any of these prospects too. I'll give it to him. He'll submit any of these prospects. I really don't see anything against it. I think if they hit the mat and roll, Julian Erosa would grab most of these prospects too. So if you give me C-Rod at his odds of taking down the prospects, if he does it again, Dana White might cut him from the UFC. But if he takes down another prospect, that'll be ridiculous. And on to the third underdog of the week. I'm going with Mackenzie Dern, the main event. Personally, I thought the first time they fought, Mackenzie Dern actually done extremely well. She just didn't have the conditioning to kind of take the full 15. I think she's worked on that massively now, and I think that's why they're top 5. They are just two women that have basically only lost to the top brass in the division, man. Rose, I think it is. Yeah, Rose and Macy Barber. They're the only two losses she realistically has in the UFC, and they're both top 5. They're both... If Macy Barber can get, if injuries didn't keep taking her out, she probably would have fought for the title by now, but she keeps getting injured. Like, it's only Rose Namajunas and Macy Barber so far in the UFC, and Caitlin Chikazian, or Caitlin Chamaria, it's not what she's known as, but Chikazian. When I think personally Mackenzie Dern is putting a lot more work to probably be able to win this rematch here. I think she has the better striking. I thought she had the better striking in the first fight. Grappling's very, very similar. I won't act like she has better grappling because she doesn't. I think it's one of the things where I think her conditioning will be a lot better. I think she can grind out. I think she has the more 5-round experience. She has the more 5-round fights on her kind of record. She's fought Angela Hill in 5 rounds over the time. Mackenzie Dern definitely has more of the 5-round experience, and I understand she's not had a brilliant few years. She has lost to a lot of fighters that she probably should beat. I can just see this one probably being the breakaway one that she probably needs to get back up to the top brass. I think she takes this one. I think that's the way to do it. And let me just go check about I'll show you what the ACA will be, what odds we're using Bet365 this weekend, so we get down to that as well. The lock of the week doesn't win. We'll be throwing 20 quid on Ronnie Barlaros versus Peyton Talbot, which I might as well just burn 20 quid because that's never going to land. So where we would be going with Thiago Moises, we'd be throwing in Joby Smith, we'd be throwing in Medic, Sanibio. So yes, this ACA has dropped a bit. It's probably because of Thiago Moises, but that's what we'd be looking at. That'd be 53. That's what we would be looking at. That's probably the best way to look at it. Let's hope we keep the continuation of my ACAs going. But with all that being said, that should be the picks, that should be the calls. That's what I'm going to go with as our best bets. I might do something different as well, maybe where I put up my best props or best sort of lines for the fights, for the KOs and all that. But if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. I'm back again. We will be doing these for the whole year. We'll see what the strike rate is. We'll see what profit we raise. We're 88 up already, so let's hopefully not ruin this with this weekend. And if you did enjoy the video, please hit the like button. If you're never hit the subscribe button, put me down below if you have any real difference with my opinions. I like to have a good debate if anyone has watched this. And anyways, I'll see you next one. Peace.